Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So in the last episode we took a look at this deck for Hounds of Fortune and we talked about the ultra rare card versus the event cards, which is Beeman and also Loga, as well as the Golden Warrior and how they would work with each other. And so as you can see, I don't actually have Loga. I am also just missing the Taurus, but I do have the Golden Warrior. I managed to get enough gems to purchase it at the guaranteed 6th tier in a VIP pack, but I don't have Taurus and I don't have enough gems to purchase the Loga pack, so I'm still deciding what I want to do. But what I thought, what I wanted to do for this episode is to just go through a couple of decks I built and just kind of go through the events here. So first, let me go ahead and collect the keys here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the deck I built, and then we will go through a couple of fights just to sort of help you see how things are going here. So I'm currently in the Elite map. So I've got 10 keys. That's perfect. We can run through 2 of them pretty quickly. And I'll talk about the team that I'm running with and what I'll have. Let's see here. What I want to do is I want to bring in a monk. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and run an Indale. So this is actually a lot of fun. So I'm using this deck here. I talked about this in the previous episode. I'm using Archangel, which boosts all light attackers. And then brought in Alexa, who is actually really useful for the final for the third wave, and then I have 2 Indales running, and then I'm using Golden Warrior to benefit from all of the gems I'll be spawning from Indale, and I'm bringing the third one so that I could have an entire board full of light gems, as you can see in a second here. So let's go ahead and battle, and let's see. So I'm in the map 3-2, so just like kind of almost halfway there. And I have a couple of relics. I do have 2 relics that work with Drin, and then I'm also using the relic from Alexa so I can get enough gems in the beginning on turn 1 to make sure that I actually am able to fill up the gauge for all of my cards here. And then at this point on, you can see it doesn't quite defeat everybody, but that's okay because I'm just going to go ahead and use my 3 Indales here. You can see, so it lights up the entire board, and then we should be able to defeat all the enemies there and go. And Alexa also has the passive, which every time she attacks, there's a 30% chance that she will generate 4 light gems. If I had brought in Sophia, I could also then create more power gems, but I haven't decided whether to do that yet. Right now this deck seems to work just fine for me. So now let's go ahead and do this, fill up the entire board. So you can see I have 35 light gems now, and then if I use the Golden Warrior at 5 stars, it only generates 3 power gem ones. And it also generates 1 by itself, but it's just that because at 5 stars, it will create a power gem for every 10 light gems that's on the board, so you only create 3. So that's a little disappointing there. I'm really trying to level him to 6 stars, but it takes a long time. So this is the challenge that in a commander event, if you get an ultra rare card, it's actually really hard to level if you don't invest in other catalysts as well. So right now I'm just waiting and trying to collect enough of the catalyst to level him up. I'm still a little bit away, but my guildmates have been very helpful here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this up just to see, prepare the board. But at this point, what I'll do is I'll just use Alexa. And you can see it deals about 2.4 million damage because I took an extra turn on turn 1, and so that was a pretty easy, easy level right there. It looks like I got a key for reward here, so I'll go back and fight the couple of levels there. So that's what it looks like. So that's basically the gem spawn strategy in the Crusader maps. Now let's go and take a look at the bosses here. So level 78, using this deck, I'm going to go ahead and use this deck. Another deck I'm going to use is one that actually features both beaming and also the Golden Warrior. We'll see how that does. And so let's start with this deck right here. And the relics I'm running here, again, same thing with the 2 Drens. I also brought in a Blood Sword here because it does boost the ancient intensity just to help Beeman out. So let's go ahead and try this out. We'll use 1 key for now. Now this one only has 1 indale, so it only generates 10 light gems as opposed to 20. So I do have to make sure that I make my gem matches count here. All right, and let's see here. So the nice thing is that, you know, you don't really need to wait for your intensity to build up to use your the Golden Warrior, because as long as you have the number of gems on the board, you can use it often, or every 3 turns, I should say. And so I'm pretty much, you know, guaranteed at least 2 to 3, I guess probably 2 if I use an indale power gems there. So I can still, you know, defeat level 78 easily, but although it's not as clean. It takes a little bit of work here with this deck. Whereas with this deck, with the Light Commander deck here, let's go ahead and finish this up. It's just a lot simpler because I have 2 indales running, so I basically just continuously build up my gems. And then I do have my Golden Warrior in here, so I'll go ahead and use the 2 indales. And at this point, you know, I can then generate 3 power gems a lot easier there. And then what I can do is, if I don't deal enough damage there, I can still use Alexa to help out, and then my indales will be powered up. I can just kind of continuously match and you know, deal damage there. So with 1 key, I think that it'd be okay, but it's not going to be like the last time where I can 1 key, you know, high level bosses. So that's the only thing. Now the other 2 decks that I am running with as well. One is I can also use the deck from the previous Commander event. So the Thrall deck still works, still very very good. But I can show you what the difference is in damage now. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. So if you remember last time I used this deck, I was able to take out level 195 or level 190 with actually I guess I'll have to go through a guild boss today because this boss is too low in level. I was able to take out a level 190 or so, but with this deck right here against the dark, I'm not dealing as much damage. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to swap out one of my cards here. Just give me a second here, because the guild boss actually casts fear, and so I have to bring in a warden that can help me with that. And Crow's prototype actually does dispel fear, so let's go ahead and try with 1 key now and see how this goes. So I am losing on some gems, and I am also losing on some health, and also you know, unfortunately I'm losing out on 2 total power gems through this way, but I have to dispel fear. So now let's see how this goes. Okay, and then it's the same strategy as before. Just make sure that I'm always looking to match dark gems. It doesn't look like there's a lot on the board this time. Okay, and the boss is also dealing quite a bit of damage there, so I'll have to make this next turn count. I think I can actually afford, let's see, can I afford 1 more hit? I may be able to afford 1 more hit. Let's take a chance there just to see. I might have a sliver of health. Okay, that's good. I got some heart gem match, so that can help me survive. Good. So let's go ahead and do the 3rd match there, and then go ahead and so I was trying to prolong my turn because I wanted a little bit more intensity built up. And let's see how much damage I can deal here with this setup there. So not a whole lot. You can see I'm only dealing 15, 16 million damage with each. And that's just because the lack of total number of power gems I have, and the fact that I am going up against a dark boss, so that my attack is halved. And now the final team that I can use, I'm just going to go ahead and use this, is my Alexa deck, where this deck can still deal a ton of damage. And think I might actually be able to just I might actually end up finishing this boss without being able to show what it can do, but let's try anyways. So with this deck, one of the main things is, you know, just I need to make sure that I am getting my my light gems. That's why I brought in Raquel to replenish my light gems regularly. And the idea here is, you know, as I build up enough intensity, I guess, you know, I can probably wait a couple of turns because I don't have nearly enough right now, 75. I want it to be about 100 or so, 150. So I need a couple more turns. So let's just, and I can use Raquel's ability as well that creates 4 gems. That helps. Okay, let's see this. Okay, so it doesn't actually. That's the other thing with the Alexa deck is you always have to take a chance. There's only a 30% chance that that her skill will actually activate. So that's why bringing in something like Raquel is actually very helpful because it helps me make sure that I can, you know, try and get a match every turn. So I'm just gonna do this instead, actually. Okay, good. So now it's activated. We have. Let's see how much this deck can. This. I made a mistake. I actually didn't mean to do that. So let's try this. Let's try this again real quick. Because I forgot. I'm so used to using the Alexa's battle skill, and that can deal hundreds of millions of damage. And I forgot that the boss was already almost dead. So that was my mistake. I hope I can do this real quick and get this going without taking too much time. This would be my last battle. I just wanted to show the various different decks that I'm using. Of course, there's a lot of different decks out there. As you know, there is still the Vladimir deck, the fire deck. I saw some screenshots. It can still deal a lot of damage, and it's really, it's still really good. So if you have that deck, you're probably already using it. And of course, there is the favorite Halloween deck, but not everybody has that. So let's see. So I'm at 100 now. So I think at any time now, if my battle skill activates, I'm just gonna go ahead and use her. So let's go ahead and increase my chance of matching. Okay, good. That's good. So I'm gonna not going to use Alexa's skill there, and then you can see. Let's see here. We can see how much damage this can do. This is a Slayer deck in a commander event. Okay, so that's about that's just about a billion or so, and this is, you know, not filling up the whole board or anything. And so it's still, you know, this is gonna be my go-to deck once the guild boss goes to a level 200. I don't think with the current event deck I'm going to be able to, with the way it is, I'm not sure if I'll be as effective with it, but I'm going to give it a try for sure. So anyway, so that's sort of, you know, where things are at. I think that based on what I'm seeing so far, this deck requires more than one ultra rare, really. I just think that, or I'll see what happens when it gets to 6 stars, because right now at 5 stars it's just not helpful at all. So let's review again. So Golden Warrior at 5 stars at most will only give you that's the wrong one. At most it will give you 4, right? So it'll give you 1 gem plus another one for every 10, and so at most you'll get is 4 power gems that may or may not be next to each other. And at 6 stars they'll double, so you can get 8. So at 8 power gems, that is probably around where it's okay, but you're really not getting a lot of damage there. And since I don't have Loga, I'm not going to be able to really validate sort of the entire deck by itself. But the thing is, this does work well in a deck that does spawn. So like, you know, this kind of deck with Indale, a spawn deck is good. A Gem Rainer deck is also going to be good, just like the Loga plus Beaming combination. So anyways, I'm going to keep trying and keep playing around. This is just, you know, after day 1 of playing. And in a couple of days, I'll come back and I'm sure my deck will be different. But I just wanted to give a quick update on how this deck is and where I'm at right now with this. So hopefully this helps give you some ideas with your event or with your cards, and give me any, as always, looking for any feedback, any comments. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Take care.